welcome to Ghost, Aliens and Beyond. I am on my own today. There is no Simon. He is actually busy going on holiday. I've had to leave this to the very last second to record. Reason why, a few things have changed. One, I'd just like to say we have left the After Dark podcast network. I would like to thank all of them for the help through the last couple of years, getting us started as a podcast and helping us on our way, even coming on the show. So thank you, Craig, Nick and everybody who have been on, and go and check out their stuff online on podcasts. I mean, things like so many out there. I lose touch. But you've got things like the Customers Only, Weird, Disney Parks and Beyond, Mickey Waffles, and on and on. So there's many out there, to go and check out their shows. But we are sticking around, and what we've done since we've gone our own way, we've shortened it down. This is for YouTube reason wise, but it'll go with the podcast as well. So instead of being like an hour, 45 minutes to an hour long, we're going down to 15 to 25 minutes long. We don't want to go longer. If it does go longer, we would rather do a part 2 out the next month. So we'll still be monthly, but we just don't want to make it a super long show. So if you want to watch the videos, though, what we'll always have, as I say, pictures coming up, maybe a few videos in it as well. Go and check it out on Epic Shows on YouTube. That will be in the show notes below for the YouTube and for also the podcast. If you can't find it in the show notes or you're having problems, go on to YouTube. Epic Shows doesn't always seem sharp for us, but if you put in TEF Pod, and that's TEFPOD, it will find Epic Shows. Epic Shows, quite simple to find. You'll see a silver E with a circular purple around it with Epic Shows just underneath. That's simple. So on this very quick episode, as Simon is away on holiday, I'm going to be talking all things Halloween. So I'm going to talk about the last Halloween Horror Nights I went to. Halloween Horror Nights 29. Pre the bad stuff that's happened in the world now. And hoping to get out there for Halloween Horror Nights 30. Bit worried now because numbers may be rising again, and it's a bit of a worry. So anyway, let's get into it and let's talk about Halloween Horror Nights 29. Right, so what we're going to start off with is, for Halloween Horror Nights 29, is to explain to you what the event is. It's a Halloween event that goes through September through October at Universal Studios, Hollywood and Orlando. I am talking about Orlando. I've never been to Hollywood, so I can't really talk about it. Now, as I said, everybody, this is a fantastic thing. I haven't done many of them. I'm very new to the party. In 2020, the first holiday I went to America, me and my family looked at it and went, what the hell is this? Let's not do it. Eventually, I think we went to the first one was Halloween Horror Nights 26. Missed 25, unfortunately. And we've loved it ever since. It became addictive. So, as I say, it's at Universal Studios. Orlando, where at night time, evening to night, so like 1, 2 in the morning, you have 5 scare zones and 10 houses, some being set on movies and big TV shows, and some originals that they've made themselves. So what we're going to start off with first is the commercial video on YouTube. You'll hear the sound on the podcast, but if you actually want to see the video, go and check it out on Epic Shows on YouTube for Ghost, Aliens and Beyond, and actually watch the commercial. As I say, that should be quite useful for you. So here we go. We're going to start the video. Fantastic, people. Now, I really hope you enjoyed that video. Now, before I get into my list from worst to best, I just want to give a shout out to the movie show with Mayhem. Off the top of my head, it's totally gone, unfortunately. But it was great. It was a late show, and it showed you all the movies and that with lasers, and the water coming up was the actual video. So, Marathon of Mayhem. There we go. I don't want to sound like a complete novice and forget the name of that. Also, there was a show with dancers that I wasn't a fan of and didn't go and do. Watched it a year before and wasn't a fan of it, unfortunately. And now it's good. It's gone. I'm not getting into the reasons why it's gone. If you want to know that, go and look it up yourself. As I say, people, it was, I don't even want to say their name because of the bad publicity from it. So, what we're going to do is we're going to get into the list of houses and scare zones. Now, before I got, this was my anticipation list of it, as I say. So, I was anticipating what I was looking forward to and what I didn't really care about. So, we'll start with the houses first, 10 being the worst, 1 being the best. So I was anticipating was. So, number 10, Us, from the movie Us. Just wasn't feeling it. Number 9 was Nightingale's Blood Pit, set in Roman times with Nightingale sort of demons ripping people apart and tearing them to pieces. Don't know why, it just didn't interest me. I'm not a big old fan. I'm only getting into it, and I've only learned how big the Nightingale mythos is with Halloween Horror Nights. So, you'll see with my list a bit later, things do change around. Number 7 was Yeti Terrier Yukon, set in a dark village at night time. You saw the Yetis attacking and killing everyone in a little village area in the middle of nowhere in the snow. Number 6 was A House of a Thousand Corpses. It is a Rob Zombie movie. People go and check that out. Number 5 was Killer Clowns from Outer Space. A year before, it was a scare zone, what I absolutely loved, and I saw the movie. It's a B horror movie, so not over the top, but is now a cult classic. Number 4 was set on Stranger Things Season 2 and a very little bit of Stranger Things Season 3. And number 3 on my list was Graveyard Games. Basically, sums it up, youngsters, graveyard, things go wrong, blah, blah, blah. Number 2 was Universal Monsters, yet again set on the monster universe, like Dracula, the Wolves, and Frankenstein, Frankenstein's wife, etc., and on, all them, the Invisible Man, a house set on them. I really was looking forward. And obviously the one I was looking forward to was my childhood movie, Ghostbusters. So, move on to scare zones, 5 being the worst, 1 being my most anticipated one. 5 was Vanity Ball, plastic surgery, all gone wrong. Just didn't really interest me. Number 4 was Viking Undead at the time. I wasn't sure. I knew it was going to be out at Vikings. I knew it was in a small area. Just wasn't looking forward to it, unfortunately. Number 3 was Rob Zombie's Hellbilly Deluxe. This was a scare zone area with his music and stuff going on. Wasn't sure to look out for. Number 2, I was actually looking forward to this at the time, was an arcade near the front of the park as you walk in. Arcade set in the 80s and that, and see what it would be like. And number 1 for me was set on the movie Zombieland. So the whole event of Halloween Horror Nights 29 was actually set in the 80s. That was the theme of it. So we move into it. So what I'm going to do now is move into my houses when I've actually done them. I went for 3 weeks in September that year and really enjoyed it. Now, Halloween Horror Nights, as I said before, the first time I went 2010, wasn't interested. Once I did it, I really wanted to do it. And I didn't want to leave, and I wanted to go every year. Cost me a lot of money. So we'll start with number 10 being worst and number 1 being the best. In the houses. Number 10, Depths of Fear. Now this was an underwater base, I presume, where it was overtaken by a type of alien sea creatures. Scare actors looked cheap and smart like a cheap Doctor Who plastic costume. It wasn't scary at all for me. Now I think I just got unlucky and didn't get any good scares for it. That's the only reason that can happen at these events. If you only go once or twice, and my time, many times. If you don't get the good scares, you may not appreciate it as much. Well, number 9 was Nightingale's Blood Pit. As I said, this was about the Nightingale demons killing and torturing Romans back in the day. It was looking good house, actually. But the problem with it, and God, did it stink in there. They got that good. It was too short and too dark for me. So, number 8 was actually the Stranger Things Netflix series, season 2 and 3. Looked great, no scares. Felt like this because they had Stranger Things Halloween Horror Nights 28 on season 1, so it felt like I've seen it before. Season 2 was kind of boring, Stranger Things as well. If they based it on Season 3, the house, it would have been awesome, in my opinion. And I've heard a lot of people in the Halloween Horror Nights community say the same thing. Moving over to my number 7, based on the movie Us. Stunning, looked like the movie. Most scare actors looked on point. They looked like the characters. It was absolutely brilliant. It felt like you were in the movie. You know, as I can say, it was a you know, but mild scares. That was the problem. Number 6, I was hoping for this to be great because obviously the scare zone the year before was on point and the best at the event for me. Was Killer Clowns. It wasn't scary at all. It was so much fun. You could press buttons in there, it'd squirt people behind you, water and all that sort of stuff, and noise. Scare actors looked like the movie. It was brilliant. It was just a fun house. So, and there was a bit outside as well, in the theme park as well, where you could actually have your pictures taken with them. So I've actually got pictures. Yeah, again, hopefully I'll be able to find this stuff. And if you're watching on YouTube, you'll see pictures coming up on the screen. Number 5 for me was Graveyard Games. The set of this place looked great. There were some really good scares in it as well. The story was quite good once you got understood. There was stuff on screens outside, everything fantastic, I thought. Number 4 for me, one of my favourites, was Yeti Terror of Yukon. It was a brilliant set. Again, some good scares. The Yetis looked so awesome. The set actually looked awesome as well for me. Obviously, people who are listening haven't been. Try and look this stuff online if you've listened to the podcast and give yourself an idea. If you've been to Halloween Horror Nights and you've been to this event, you'll know what I'm talking about. Sorry about that. Number 3 was Ghostbusters. This was my childhood. The set was on point. Actors were great, but there was no scares. But I don't care about the scares. Me and I think everyone I saw who walked out of this and people I've talked about came out with a smile. Was it really a Halloween Horror Nights house? No. But was it my childhood dream come true and be in this movie? Yes. So for me, it had to make my top 3 just because of that. Number 2 was The House of a Thousand Corpses, set on the movie. Go and watch that, another B movie, a Rob Zombie movie, people. Set was amazing. Scare actors were brilliant. I could have done it so many times and did it quite a few times while I was out there. Number 1 for me, my King House of the Year, was Universal Monsters. This was my champion, guys. Set was perfect for me. Scare actors looked amazing. And was great scares. Loved it too. If it was up to me, this would be an all year round house in Universal. It would be a part of your park ticket. They do this at Hollywood with Walking Dead, but Universal Monsters would be so much better, I think. A nice big house where you'd walk in all year round. Obviously, you'd have to hire scare actors to do this all year round, so I know the logistics for it may not be as simple, but they looked on point and it would scare you through daytime, nighttime, enjoyment. Great scare at the end with Frankenstein's monster. When you think it's all over, that was absolutely brilliant. He'd be behind the curtain when you're walking out. Roar! And Frankenstein's wife, actually, the scream she would do when you were going past in the air. Oh, deafening, but a great scare nonetheless. Now we're going to move across to scare zones. 5 being my worst and number 1 being my favourite. So, as I said, I had done all these a few times when there. This is a list I had when I came back. So, scare zones. Number 5 was an arcade. The LED, the 80 arcades looked good. The lady on stilts looked fantastic. The rest of it just was meh for me. I just walked through a couple of good photos. You could get some really good photos if you had a good camera to do it with. Gary from the RIP Tour podcast. Wow. Check his YouTube videos and his photography on this, please. That's the Florida guy for everyone out there. Fantastic, brilliant looking stuff he did. Number 4 for me was Zombieland. Don't think the zombies looked good at all. Felt too open and not enough main characters. Loved the blue toilets nearby. You know the blue portable toilets. You open the door, one of them would open, would squirt water in the face of the person opening it, and every once in a while another one would open and a zombie would run out at you. Hitting the mic, would scare the living daylights out of so many people. It was fun. I've got videos now. I will try and hunt stuff down, and if I can, I will get on the video for YouTube. As I said, people, go and check out the show on YouTube as well if you want to see videos and pictures of the event. So, number 3 for me was a Vanity Ball. Scare actors looked great with their plastic surgery gone wrong. Can see why people like the show. There was a show where it would be like people all dressed up posh and, like looking good going down, but obviously with the plastic surgery, what's really bad, and that's why it's called Vanity Ball. So I can understand it, but wasn't the slightest scare for me. Number 2 was Vikings Undead. Did get overcrowded because it was a small area. Scare actors though looked amazing, and loved to torture stuff, so you would see like the demons would have ripped open people's bodies and Vikings, and you'd see ribs, guts and everything. As I say, this is not always an event for young children, so do your homework if you've never been before and you'd like to go. My niece at the time, who's now 17, I believe, she was 16, 15 the last time she went, and she couldn't handle it. She had to leave. Everyone else in the family loved it, but she couldn't handle it. It's not for everybody, but I have seen young children there who enjoy it. So it really is based on your family's, and deciding if you like it or not. It's Despicable 3 for a start. Their young child himself, he loves it, and he's very young, so it can work either way. So, and number 1 for me, Rob Zombie's Hillbilly Deluxe. This was set on, as I say, on Rob Zombie's music. The views were great. The music's excellent, and photo ops were the best in the whole park for the time being. This was a great area for adults. I wouldn't say this was a scare zone, more of a fun party zone for more adult. Some ladies in scantily clad stuff is the best way to put it, I think. And great music. You could have a drink here, an alcoholic beverage, have a laugh with friends, family, even on your own. Just enjoy the music and enjoy yourself in this area. Now, if you want a more in-depth in all of this, go and check out Simon Says Podcasts. I think it could be called Simon Says Darts. Now, I will put the episode in the show notes below, so you can listen to it. It's just a podcast, not a YouTube, unfortunately, where me and Simon go more in depth, and he gives his opinion as well on the event, what I think was fantastic. Now, I'm hoping, like many others, through these bad times right now, we can get out there 2021 for Halloween Horror Nights 30. If not, I will be upset, and I will be looking forward to go Halloween Horror Nights 31. Simon's trying to get out there as well. Guys, as I say, as per normal, if you've enjoyed this episode, could you please subscribe to Ghost Aliens Beyond on all good podcast apps? Give it a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. If you don't like what we're doing, give it a 1-star review, but can you please give some feedback, give some writing, tell us what we're doing wrong and how to improve it. We always want to get better. That's the point. Yet again, we're on Epic Shows on YouTube as well. If you're watching on YouTube, guys, just press at the top, subscribe to us, and press that bell notification for things like this. Ghost Aliens Beyond, as I say, the Epic Florida Project, where me and Simon talk all Florida news and theme park news, what's going around entertainment-wise. We've got Rant Sports, where many of us get together and we talk all sports around the world. We agree, we disagree, we debate all sports. Rant Football, what used to be Rant Football Predictions, is coming back with me and Andrew. Andrew will be doing Man United and I will be doing Chelsea, where we'll be talking transfer news, pre-match stuff, what we think the lineup's going to be, formations and score predictions, and then aftermath, a review on the game, what went wrong, what went right, what could get better. And as I say, if you want that on Epic Shows, go on YouTube, look for Epic Shows. If you can't find it, type in on YouTube TEFPOD. You'll find Epic Shows. It's a E, what's kind of silver with a purple circle around it, and the word Epic Shows underneath. Me and Simon have much on there, and there's always new stuff getting released. As I say, just subscribe and press that notification bell for more of it. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this episode of us on our own, shorter. We hope it's better, and we hope you come back. Comment below if you've been to Halloween Horror Nights. Tell us what you think of it. Give me your list. I'd love to read it. I always want to interact with people. Hopefully on later episodes, Simon will be back from his holiday. I will have guests on as well. Hopefully getting Jamie back to talk aliens again. Hopefully getting a medium on as well to talk all things and explain to me why I shouldn't necessarily use the word spooky, and talk more what they do. And if anybody else would like to come on, as I say, get hold of us on Twitter at GAAB Podcast. Email us on Ghost Aliens and Beyond. And guys, thank you for watching. And as Simon, or listening I should say, and as Simon would say, stay spooky.